Hmm. One of the things that I don't know if it's like something that bothers me a lot, but it's something I do think about is the Frieza race. How there's so much about them that has never really been explained or even talked about because for some reason Toriyama and now the other guy I think he's working with what's his name Toya. Anyways, the guy who's been involved since Dragon Ball Super is just for some reason when it comes to Frieza's race, they don't ever really explore a whole lot about them. They don't talk about them much because it's to the point where we don't even know if there's a name for what the actual name for them is. We just keep referring to them as the Frieza race, even in games outside the official manga or the anime adaptation. Like in the Xenoverse games, they're simply referred to as the Frieza race.
You're really strong.
I'm like, could we not give them an actual name? Some people refer to them as Ice Gins, others Frost Demon or Frost Gin. I prefer Ice Gin because it sounds cooler.
Are you?
This is bad! Don't think Boo can win! Keep it up.
You ain't bossing me just because we're the same race. Hey, why couldn't the 100% or full power forward? Basically, whenever the Ice Gens bulk up like Frieza does, how could we get that?
Boo's gonna beat you down!
There's just something about a whole bunch of small Martian dudes running around that's creepy.
Why do you have so much power? Boo, hurting.
Wait, one thing also about the Ice Gens I've been wanting to talk about is just insane the level of power that they have. Even especially compared to the Saiyans. Dang it! Especially when going from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z in the Frieza saga. Oh, damn it, Frieza! Like Goku, he's been training in martial arts and combat since he was a child, ever since he was found by his grandpa Gohan. So training with Grandpa Gohan to later Master Roshi and sparring with Krillin. The different tournaments he entered and fought in. To training with, is it Corrin? Yeah. The cat that's in top of it. I forgot the name of the damn tower. I think it's just called Corrin's Tower. Anyways, him, Tommy, after missing the caliber of opponents he fought like King Piccolo, then going into Z, training with King Kai. All that training, gaining techniques like the Kaioken. And yet, when he finally fights Frieza, hell, like even before Frieza, when he fought Vegeta, he needed Kaioken. He needed a higher level of Kaioken than when he used briefly against Nappa in order to, oh dang! In order to defeat Vegeta. Then he spends all those years, that wasn't years, how long was it? A few days, I believe it was? In the capsule he used to get to Namek, training and... How many times gravity was it? Was it 5 times Earth's gravity? It was some kind of multiplier to increase the gravity of the space that he was in to be times that of Earth. So by the time he gets to Namek, he easily overpowers the rest of the Ginyu force, is able to match
Want me to go
Ginyu.
easy on you?
But then the damage he receives after Ginyu switched bodies with him and his body took, he gets a bit of a Zenkai boost. So, like I said, years of training, the people he fought, the people he defeated, gaining the Kaioken, being able to learn how to use the Kaioken, the Spirit Bomb, all of that. Then, all of that, his martial arts, finally coming face to face with Frieza. And Frieza made every opponent he ever fought over the years, every opponent he nearly died to. Frieza's showing that he's so dang powerful that unlike everyone else, like Goku was going all out. He was fighting very seriously, using Kaioken to the maximum output he could at the time, which I think was times, it was times 10. Oh. I'm surprised I didn't transform yet. Anyways, the thing with Frieza is that like he never once trained a day in his life. He never trained, and during his fight with Goku, he wasn't taking the fight serious at all. He wasn't taking the fight serious. He's holding back a bit just to entertain himself. And again, combine those aspects with the fact that he never trained. That's what it took for Goku to hold his own. And even then, he was still barely doing any damage. Dang it! He was still not landing any damage that could be wholly significant against Frieza. Until finally he managed to gain enough energy from the Spirit Bomb to supposedly defeat Frieza. Even though it took Piccolo getting in there and... Let's see, it took Frieza getting in there. Not Frieza, it took Piccolo getting in there and distracting Frieza. Just for Goku to make a Spirit Bomb powerful enough to hurt him. And that still wasn't enough. It took finally watching his own friend die. So many years of trauma and all this other stuff, and just happened to be a Saiyan for Goku to gain the power necessary to match Frieza and start to overpower him to where he finally uses 100% of his power. And even then, it's because he never had to go that far before and he never trained that he just didn't have the stamina to maintain it. That was Goku's main advantage. Being able to overpower Frieza due to Frieza's lack of stamina. And being able to actually stay in a fight for that long against an opponent of equal or potentially greater power.
I'll kill you.
Then comes Resurrection F. So by this point, even after encountering opponents more powerful than that. Well, that move is weird, but it looks cool.
What?
People who are made to be more powerful, like the androids, especially Cell. And then, freaking Majin Buu. Then let's see, after that there was Beerus. And Goku finally gains the ability to use Divine Ki, getting Super Saiyan Red.
Keep it up.
And then he learns to combine the use of Divine Ki with regular Super Saiyan. Thus he obtains Super Saiyan Blue. So he's way ahead of where Frieza with 100% full power, while going all full serious where he was all that time ago. Frieza, he gets resurrected. And he finally, for once in his life, trains enough where after just a few months, gains his golden form, which actually gave him more raw power than what Goku and Vegeta had. So it's back to square one, where Frieza was slightly still more powerful than Goku, where Goku even admits that he could have won if he had learned to maintain his form. That's why Goku could stay Super Saiyan Blue for as long as he did, but Frieza would eventually lose his golden form. Because he rushed to Earth as soon as he got it, didn't bother to train in it. Learn the training or his stamina to maintain it. And yet, upon his second death at the end of Resurrection F, did I write F death? Nope. Anyways,
What technique should I use? I got a boatload of them. Why you? I won't forgive you even if you say sorry.
yeah, get lost, go thanks. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, all of that, and as Goku pointed out, Frieza just needed to train in his golden form. He could have won. And can you imagine how irritating, what's the term I'm looking for? Depressing that is. All of the trauma, all the life and death situations. It took Goku watching his own friend die to unlock Super Saiyan for the first time.
Zep, how can I lose here?
And that's, like I said, along with every other technique he learned while dead or just when he meets an opponent too difficult for him to defeat on his own. It took him being dead and being in the afterlife between the Android Saga and the Majin Saga for him to unlock Super Saiyan 3. And wasn't it while he was training with Whis that he learned how to combine his divine ki with his Super Saiyan? So it took a bit of training with an angel for Goku to get where he was. All those years, all the different calibers of teachers he needed. And Frieza, training on his own for a few months, gave him power to almost immediately overpower him easily.
I'm like, man. I didn't come here to help you. I just want
That's like in real life. You spend your whole life since childhood training in martial arts, bodybuilding, working on yourself to get where you are currently by, like, say, your early 30s. And then someone comes along and in just 1 month, whatever gains you made physically, spiritually, and all the other stuff, they managed to gain in 1 month what took you years of hard work and trauma to finally accomplish. Who wouldn't be pissed about that? And then somehow while dead, despite being in the afterlife, Frieza managed to do some kind of, what was it, mental training that he did?
I lost?
Some kind of mental or image training he did on his own, despite being confined to a cocoon in hell, for Frieza to get more powerful, unlock what he called true golden form. Which is literally, it's just golden form, but it's just more powerful because he now knows how to maintain it and utilize it to maximum effect. And what's crazy about that, am I saying it too much, saying what's crazy about this and what's crazy about that? Anyways, knowing that when it came to Dragon Ball Super Broly, so far it was said that unlike when Broly went Super Saiyan and started rampaging against everyone, despite both working together as Super Saiyan Blue, and this is after the Tournament of Power and after the rest of the Dragon Ball Super series, manga and anime, despite everything, Goku and Vegeta, despite how more powerful they became since Resurrection F, Tournament of Power, and whatever other arcs that came in between, like the Zamasu arc, their attacks didn't do anything to even phase Broly once Broly went Super Saiyan. And this is a guy who has no training. Well, he had some training with his father. I forget the name of that planet. And all Broly had was training with sparring matches with his dad. Let's see, sparring matches with his dad and that weird giant creature that he fought. That creepy thing that had that weird smile on his face. I forgot that creature's name. It had a name. but his father shot its ear off and scared it away, and Broly never saw it since. So after that, Broly only ever had his dad. And Vegeta points out how, with his father's low power level, that wouldn't be able to help him accomplish much. Alright, another beast. Beast Saiyan, Beast Namekian. I'm glad they made this transformation universal.
Not bad. You surprised me.
Oh my. Do stay alert, sir. You have a reputation to uphold.
Yeah, take that, Beerus.
You say something.
No, sir. Not a thing.
So anyways, Broly is this opponent who's barely had, he's only ever trained a bit with his father, giving him the most basic of hand-to-hand combat. Never had any life or death situations. Never any serious fights, unlike Goku and Vegeta. And yet he had transformations that allowed him to catch up to where he and everyone else was. Just because he happens to be a mutant amongst his race. Literally just being born different.
Now that's impressive.
Here we go.
Not bad. I'm gonna
like my
keep an
grappler
eye
build.
on you.
Shut up, Goku. Anyways, so while nothing Goku and Vegeta, even with Super Saiyan Blue, and getting more powerful since they first went Super Saiyan Blue and Resurrection F, am I repeating myself too much here?
Oh, come on.
Are y'all keeping up with me? I hope so.
Remember, you have to
When Frieza went golden form after Goku and Vegeta disappeared and Broly started wailing on him, Frieza finally went golden, and it was said that unlike Super Saiyan Blue, Goku and Vegeta, Golden Frieza's attacks were at least able to cause some pause to Broly. That his strikes were able to stagger Broly a bit. And sure, it didn't manage to do too much in the end, but just knowing that Frieza, and that was just over an hour of fighting, Frieza was able to last an hour of fighting against Broly and able to stagger him a bit with his strikes for one whole hour by himself. Whereas for the Saiyans, even within between switching, taking turns, and then fighting at the same time, nothing they did, nothing they threw at Broly slowed them down. And the most impressive currently from Frieza
What a monster!
is that in
You've reached a level any Saiyan would dream of.
it was at the end of the Granola arc. Spoilers for anyone who isn't entirely caught up. Even though the Granola arc came out some time ago, we are currently in the superhero arc. Anyways, so at some point while Goku and Vegeta are having their battle against Granola, and then later Gas from the Heater family, they're all doing their thing. Frieza found a hyperbolic time chamber. He just happened to find one on another planet. And while there, he's in there for a whole 10 hours. And it's within those 10, because what's he? 1 hour is equal to 1 year outside of the chamber. I used to think it was like 1 day, like 1 hour was equal to a day, but then I remembered, no, it's a year. Where was I? So 10 hours in Dragon Ball's real time equal to 10 years inside that chamber of Frieza training. Now he didn't specify what kind of training he did, but anyways, within those 10 hours, that's after Granola made his wish to be the most powerful warrior. In other words, making himself the most powerful outside of deities like the God of Destruction and angels, obviously. So he ends up becoming the most powerful mortal in the entire universe, by default making him more powerful than Goku and Vegeta. And that's even after Vegeta gained Ultra Ego after training with Beerus. and Goku's Ultra Instinct becoming more powerful than it was since the Tournament of Power,
Along with you,
and more powerful than it was since
you beat Frieza.
the
Bad at all. Maybe I'll wait a little longer.
what was the name of that wizard he fought? That weird goat dude.
I thought I sensed a
Anyways,
powerful energy here.
So
But
after
I
all
see
of that,
only losers.
Gas comes along and makes
Not
the exact
bad.
same wish
Not bad at all.
after Granola made that wish.
Not bad.
And thus,
And since
despite
I've got
Granola at
nothing
full
better
power,
now,
Ultra
why not
Ego
wait a few more
Vegeta
moments
and
with
Ultra
you?
Instinct Goku working together,
Someone's showing promise.
Gas was just constantly getting more
Give yourself more
powerful
time.
thanks to the wish, making it difficult for them to keep up. Until Frieza came along and just shortly manages to dispatch him, Gas.
That hurt a little.
Of course, Gas was smart enough not to get involved. But then what happened after that? Oh yeah, Frieza finally shows off his black form to Goku and Vegeta. And this is after they were healed. I remember it was the Namekian who made a wish for Goku and Vegeta to be healed and return to full power. I can't remember if it was a wish. But anyway, somehow the Namekian who was with them, he did something. And anyways, he manages to help Goku and Vegeta fully heal from the injuries from the beginning to the end of the arc. And they were at full power. They see Frieza, they go to the most powerful form, Ultra Ego for Vegeta. And perfect Ultra Instinct, or whatever the most powerful form of Ultra Instinct Goku has, whatever he calls it. But anyways, the highest peak of their power as of the end of the Granola arc, they do that. And Frieza manages to one-shot both of them. And he just charges at them and strikes them both in the abdomen with one hand each. And he struck them so hard that they were immediately incapacitated. They were fully healed.
Really? In fact, I won't
At full
destroy
perfect
Earth
health.
after all, because I'd rather destroy
And he had a
you.
full charge from Black Frieza. And he had a confident smirk on his face. That made me think he wasn't even really trying.
Good. That's the spirit.
And he knocked them both out of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego at the same time. That is just one of the most insane things that I've seen in manga form.
That was fun. I think I'll have sweet dreams tonight.
Like, hot dang, were those two outmatched in that instant.
Wow! You're the best, almost.
Now, I'd say, unlike the previous reasons as to why Frieza didn't end up killing Goku when they fought or when they had an encounter, was something that didn't make more sense. Because again, Frieza being lazy, never doing any training, and he wanted to have, and he was so overconfident, thinking that I'll just take my time with them and kill him in the end. Nothing bad's gonna happen. So who knows? Maybe his arrogance and actually showing mercy that time, because he said how he did come for them, but he came for something else. So it may end up costing him in the future if we ever get to that point. I don't know. There's been some weird stuff they've been doing with Dragon Ball recently. That YouTubers like Geekdom 101, that he's been talking about, and a few others. That makes me wonder what the heck they're doing with Dragon Ball and whatnot. But anyways, oh man, I should go out for a walk after this. Give me some time to think about the next video I want to make. So all this stuff, it just shows how powerful Frieza can be if he took the same path as Goku and Vegeta. If he had dedicated as much time to training and growing stronger, but in the same way Goku has, he would have been so far ahead of everyone. He would have killed everyone by that point. There would be no Android or Majin Saga or Dragon Ball Super with Goku and the others dead.
Am I losing?
So from that perspective, when you think about it, it's a good thing Frieza never did any training in his life. It's a good thing that in Resurrection
I have
F,
to be so mean.
he only did a minimal amount of training to gain a new form. Now he's kicked.
Seems like my skills aren't what they used to be.
didn't think there would be anyone
only
stronger
after
than
the
me.
Tournament of Power
You monster!
and
How
after
dare you do that to Trunks?
the Broly arc that Frieza finally understands the value of dedicating
That's it.
so much time to training, doing
Splendid.
10 years worth in the 10 hours he was in the hyperbolic time chamber. That is such a mouthful, hyperbolic time chamber. Kind of funny how they made fun of it a bit in the abridged series. Because it is, that's such a weird name.
And this next one's for real.
And it makes me wonder, even though it's said that part of the reason why Frieza and his family, like his father King Cold, were so powerful was because they're mutants amongst their species. So I'm thinking, wait, so Broly is a Saiyan, he's as powerful as he is because he's a mutant amongst his race, being the legendary Super Saiyan. And Frieza and his entire family are all mutants. So wouldn't that make them the equivalent of each other's species? Like, wouldn't Frieza be... Doesn't that make Frieza the Broly of his species?
What's that for?
Although Frieza made his debut long before Broly, even the Z era Broly.
Ow!
So does that make Broly the Frieza of his species? Because like I said, they're both of their species are very powerful. And so they're both also said to be mutants amongst their species. That's why they're so ridiculously strong, so much stronger than the rest, even without much, if any, training.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
But still, what about the average Ice Gen?
Mind if I join?
How powerful is the average Ice Gen compared to the average Saiyan?
How powerful you are.
A lot of people saying
You're
how
Lord Beerus's teacher. You must be strong.
like everyone talks about how powerful the Saiyans are, but others, I've seen fans talk about how, in truth, the Ice, no, not the Ice Gens, the Saiyans, even with all their power, are practically combat, or not combat, cannon fodder to the Ice Gens. Considering Frieza by himself, in his first form, is far weaker than his final form, was able to take out all of Planet Vegeta by himself. So what about other Ice Gens? What would they be able to accomplish if they dedicate as much training like Goku did?
Wasn't a Super Saiyan supposed to be
So
almighty?
that's what truly makes Ice Gens so scary,
Wow.
is the amount of
You're the
potential they
best,
have.
almost.
And their species alone could probably no doubt have dominated the entire universe on their own if they wanted to. Like, yeah, the Saiyans are a warrior race. They have abilities such as Zenkai boost, and that's if, well, the Zenkai boost only works if they survive a life or death experience. Which obviously we have seen that's not always the case. They can't survive. It doesn't mean they can survive everything. It just means that if they do survive something, they can and will come back stronger from it. And also, I think it depends on the extent of their near-death experience, how strong they get from that. So yeah, Ice Gens may not have that, but again, it's like their base stats and their stats while transformed, it's like such a huge jump in power so quickly, and they can obtain that from just a few months worth of training like Frieza did, versus the Saiyans where it takes so much for them to reach their power. And I wish we got to explore that a little more.
You decided not to eat me. Let's play.
Like, we've seen so many Ice Gens on both, both manga and anime format, and in video games. We've seen so much from them. And yet, for whatever reason,
No! I let my guard down.
heck, we even have more information in regards to the Majins. Whether we're just talking Majin Buu himself, or Majins in other games like in Xenoverse. But the Ice Gens, It's like Toriyama and Toyotaro, they're just like, no, we're not really gonna go into the ice streams very much. We're not really gonna talk about them.
Oh, you're quite good.
Heck, we even have more information in regards to the Namekians. And the Namekians themselves are such cannon fodder to the Saiyans, who themselves are cannon fodder to the Ice Gens. And of course, this is about the average. Actually, no. Now that I also think about it, every character that we've seen who's a representation of their race, Frieza, Goku and Vegeta, and now Broly,
Now,
and Piccolo,
Lord Beerus, stop fooling around.
they're all said to
Let
be
me take care of this, okay?
exceptionally powerful members of their race. As far as what raw power they have, they were born with, amongst so many other things, they're all such unique members of their species. It's like, yeah, the only one out of those guys who wasn't simply just born different was Goku. Well, born different in that he was born in low class training. Vegeta was born with a powerful, with a high energy level. Power level. I can't believe I forgot that. Oh, come on! Thank you.
It is a surprise that someone like you exists.
Anyways, for Piccolo, yeah, Piccolo prior to getting his orange form never had an actual transformation. There was the Namekian fusion that he did with Nail. And then he did the same, well, I don't think it was Namekian fusion, at least not the same way he did with Nail, since Kami is in fact a part of Piccolo. They're both two parts of the whole Namekian that had separated himself a long time ago. So those two combining together, Nail and Piccolo, that's an actual Namekian fusion. But what Kami and Piccolo did, that's just them becoming the whole Namekian that split itself apart. But again, that's not a transformation. Since the games like Budokai
I must have lost
treat
my
it like a
footing for a
transformation.
second.
Good. Wow.
And yet,
You're the best.
despite
almost.
all that, it was said that the original Namekian that had split himself up into King Piccolo and Kami was very powerful. So that combined with his years of training, combined with fusing with Nail, gave him power to overpower second form Frieza, whereas everyone else in all the years prior, not just the Frieza saga, but even when in the story of Bardock, everyone was cannon fodder to first form Frieza. So for Piccolo to show up and start easily manhandling second form Frieza was very impressive. It's just unfortunate he wasn't able to do much once Frieza went to his third form. But then he finally fuses or becomes whole again with Kami, Piccolo himself being base as he demanded. And that alone was all it took. That alone was all it took for Piccolo, for a moment, for a short time, become the most powerful of the Z Warriors. Because everyone, himself included, before he fused with Kami, easily got manhandled by androids 18 and 17. But then he fuses with I can't stop saying fusing. He becomes whole again with Kami. Piccolo himself still being the base, still being the one we all know and love, the one in control, ends up managing to equal 17. And 17 himself acknowledges this, that when it comes to raw power, they're equals.
All right.
The only problem was stamina. 17 had infinite ki and stamina, whereas Piccolo, his stamina, his ki reserves are great, very great, but not infinite. So no matter what, unless Piccolo found some way to take out 17 in one clean shot, 17 will eventually start to overpower Piccolo just by having infinite stamina. Weird how Beerus tells me to bring out my Super Saiyan God power, even though I'm not a Saiyan. So after all those years, it finally took Piccolo finally gaining Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan, dang it! Finally becoming orange, Super Namekian orange. I'd probably just call it that. Just call it Super Namekian.
What, you don't like God form?
I mean, we're gonna call Super, like, I like to call Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Red, because honestly, it doesn't feel nor look very godly to me. So I just call it Super Saiyan Red. So we're gonna have Super Saiyan, all these different forms of Super Saiyan, including Super Saiyan Blue, because I refuse to call it Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. That is such a mouthful. So if we're doing all that, we might as well just call it Super Namekian Orange.
Damn it! Looks like you.
I really hope they added to this game, to
Notice
Universe
what? That your
2.
Super Saiyan God form expired quite some time ago.
What? Are you serious?
Your body somehow learned from the experience, and in the process,
Now what else?
reached new powerful heights.
Oh yeah,
That's
so
why you didn't
Piccolo,
really
ever since
lose
becoming
much
whole
power.
again with Kami,
Understand
he's been
what I
doing a lot of
mean?
training. In
You're
fact, if
good.
anything,
Like one in a
Piccolo,
million.
he does very little else besides training. Heck, I'd say he spends more time training than Goku. It's just that that Saiyans are naturally more powerful than the Namekians. So that's why, even though Piccolo technically does more training than Goku, he's not as powerful, or wasn't as powerful for so long. Until, it was prior to the Tournament of Power, everyone's training to get ready for the Tournament of Power, Piccolo ends up sparring with Gohan. And he manages to push Gohan for Gohan to go Super Saiyan 2. And even with Super Saiyan 2, Piccolo actually manages to overpower Gohan's Super Saiyan 2. Gohan's like, wait, how did you get that powerful? And Piccolo told him, what do you think I've been doing all this time? Sitting around doing nothing? And if I recall, when Piccolo showed that he can go Super Saiyan 2, now when Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 for the first time in the Cell Saga, he was able to actually overpower Cell and was shown to still have more power than Cell, even in the final Beam Clash, despite Cell becoming even more powerful after gaining that Zenkai boost and gaining a form equivalent of Super Saiyan 2, which he said could destroy the solar system. Which would mean that in that moment, Piccolo, despite still not having an actual transformation, gained power that's like solar system level, if not multi-solar system. And thus, he was able to finally push Gohan to go Ultimate. Then came the Tournament of Power, where they managed to hold on for as long as they did. Piccolo, if I remember, yeah, Piccolo did get knocked out, but let's see. All the humans got knocked out of the tournament.
So you came to avenge your friends.
And then, if I remember, it was then after that the Android 18 got knocked out of the tournament.
Have so much power?
And then finally Piccolo.
Not bad. And since I've got nothing else better to do right now, why not waste a
So
few
he
more
did
moments
manage
with
to
you?
last, at least he managed to last way longer than the
Please
Earthlings
get any remaining Dragon Balls.
and Android
Almost all the
18.
Dragon Balls are here. Please do your best.
Because it's like, for Piccolo, it's not even just all the training he does, but he's so dang smart. The different techniques he develops. So he's a very powerful master level martial artist. And his general battle IQ. Because like it doesn't matter how much training you do if you don't learn to be smart enough to know how to use it properly. So he ends up developing so many new techniques on his own, in addition to learning how to strategize. What the heck?
What's the matter? I know you've got more than...
That is weird. But anyways, alright, let's try again. So anyways, yeah, let's see, in addition to being a master martial artist, he's also quite the tactical genius on the battlefield. All that just puts a lot of stuff in Piccolo's favor. And thus, finally, it all comes to a head when he meets Gamma 2. Gammas 1 and 2 being androids developed to be able to take out the most powerful of the Z fighters, that being Goku and Vegeta, as usual. So, without even trying, when Gamma 2 encounters Piccolo, he manages to defeat Piccolo easily. Piccolo had to fake his death in order to escape the blast. And then he makes the wish to Shenron to bring out his full
Please
potential.
collect all the Dragon Balls around the area.
Not bad.
And from that wish,
Bad at all.
he gained a bit of extra power from Shenron in the form of his orange form, which allowed him to knock out Gamma 2 in
Not
one
bad.
hit,
And since I've got nothing else better to do right
and
why not
allowed
waste a few more
him to
moments
hold
with
his
you?
own. Like, yeah, he wasn't able to outright
Damn
overpower,
it.
but he was still able to hold his own against I almost said Majin Buu. That's what I'm fighting right now.
You've got to be kidding me.
So all these people attacking me all at once. There we go. So he knocks out Gamma 2 in just one hit.
Why do you have so much
And though he
power?
wasn't able to defeat him on his own, he was still able to hold his own. In fact, Orange Piccolo was the only one who, for a moment, stood a chance against Cell Max.
The Dragon Ball has been sent. Please get any remaining Dragon Balls. Return
Whereas
to the time
everyone
machine
else,
with any Dragon Balls you can obtain.
everyone else
Almost all
was
the
constantly
Dragon Balls are
scattering
here.
around, trying
Please
to
do your
avoid him
best.
as much as possible. Piccolo was the only one to be able to basically take the brunt of his attack
A new Dragon Ball was located. Please find it.
for as long as he did. And that was before Gohan
so
became
this is where the
Beast.
energy is coming from.
And even
I'm
then,
joining
while
in.
everyone else thought Piccolo was dead, turns out, nope, Piccolo was actually still alive.
This
And thus he
is
was able to
Super
contribute,
Saiyan God.
making a significant
Here I go.
contribute, helping Gohan by holding Cell Max still long enough
Is that the best you can do?
for Gohan to land a perfect special beam
surprised
cannon.
me. It's been so long since I had so much.
All this just shows just how
Satisfied now?
powerful Orange Piccolo
That
is.
was quite
And
good.
Toriyama himself
I'm
said so
impressed.
himself, that Piccolo has gained a form that finally puts him on
Stop
par
destroying my world!
with Goku and Vegeta. And so when the guy who created and started the entire Dragon Ball franchise himself makes such a statement,
Wow,
there's no arguing it.
they are strong.
And there's no point in trying to argue
You're
it.
quite
That's
strong
what it
for
is.
someone of the lower worlds.
That with his orange form, Piccolo
My,
is now officially
what a
on par
surprise. I must have
with
lost my
Goku
footing
and
for a
Vegeta,
second.
who for so long were the only two who would usually have the power to last against whoever the main villain or antagonist was, or be among the last ones standing, or able to still keep fighting. I'm so glad they finally gave Piccolo an official transformation and gave him the significant boost that he deserves, and make him the main protagonist along with Gohan. 'Cause now that I think about yeah, Gohan I really did feel secondary throughout that film, even when he gained Beast.
Good. Wow.
Because
You're the best, almost.
basically Beast Gohan wasn't on screen for as long as Orange Piccolo. But that's beside the point. Now some people did get mad about that, about Piccolo, the way he got his orange form. Like they're mad saying how Piccolo just made the wish and it was apparent to them it was exactly the same as Granola and then later Gas gained their power just by making a wish. But others pointed out that's completely different. Granola's wish and later Gas, their wish was specifically to be the most powerful mortal or the strongest warrior in the whole universe. Piccolo's wish was to draw out his potential. Like, even if his potential wasn't going to make him the most powerful mortal in the entire universe, that's not what he wished for. He just wished for whatever potential he had gained at that point. It's like when you play an RPG game, there's all the stats you have, but you haven't spent any
Please collect all
stat
the Dragon
points.
Balls around the area.
So essentially, Piccolo making his wish is like the equivalent of taking all the skill points, stat points you have accumulated, and putting it wherever to make your character stronger. Whereas for Granola and Gas, theirs is the equivalent of using cheat codes to give your character basically God mode. Make your character so powerful that even the strongest bosses can't kill you. Besides, not as many people were tripping about it as much when it came to Gas and Granola making their wishes. But then suddenly Piccolo does it. Oh, it's the end of the world for some of those people. It just shows how quick to hypocrisy some people are. Like, it's okay for a character to do this, but it's not okay for that character to do it because whatever reason. And some people, you can explain it, but they just
Return to the
refuse
time machine with
acknowledge
any
it.
Dragon Balls you can obtain.
I'm just an obsession with wanting to be right and not be proven wrong. They want to say that no matter what, that's what Piccolo
The
did,
Dragon
saying
Ball
Piccolo
has been
cheated.
sent.
And I'm
Please
like,
get
how is
any
he
remaining
cheating?
Dragon Balls.
And it's like, how are you going to accuse him of cheating when you didn't write the rules for combat? Much less how combat is done in a fictional series like
A
Dragon
new
Ball.
Dragon Ball was located. Please find it.
Anyways, I'm just glad Piccolo finally has a new transformation. And like I said, I hope they give Namekian the same transformation in Universe 2. But it's still weird how some people decide to argue that. Again, because I think I talked about this in my last Universe 2 vid. How some people get mad when they talk about wanting Orange Storm in Universe 2. Saying that's unnecessary. Just create a new Namekian, make them orange and call them Piccolo or something, or just call it Orange Namekian. And it's like, that's like all the Saiyans being given Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, Future Super Saiyan, Super Vegeta, even though Future Super Saiyan and Super Vegeta are even more oddly specific than all the other Saiyan transformations. And yet nobody's complaining about that. They're not saying, I don't hear anyone saying, oh, just give your Saiyan yellow hair and call it Super Saiyan. Or just give them blue hair and call it Super Saiyan Blue. And no one's complaining about the Golden Ice Gen despite Frieza being the only one in Dragon Ball canon showing off that form. No one's saying, oh, just make your Ice Gen yellow or some other color and call it Golden Ice Gen and give them potential unleashed. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why that, especially that one guy on Reddit, I don't know why he was so against Namekians given an orange form. Like, why not give them, because again, the Saiyans have so many transformations unique to them. Why not give the Ice Gens Black Frieza and give the Namekians Orange Namekian?
Good. Wow.
Give them other transformations so they have alternatives that are unique to them. I think I'm gonna end it around here. I forgot which character was I playing as? Oh yeah, I was playing as my Ice Gen. Not Najax. That was the old Ice Gen I used to have. Glass. I'm trying to remember because that is a word for meaning ice. Or something to do with ice. I forget. If it's like French or something. But anyways, so far, every character who's either between Goku and Vegeta of the Saiyans, Piccolo of the Namekians, Frieza of the Ice Giants, each of them have something about them that makes them so dang unique amongst their entire species. For Goku, yeah, he was born a low-class Saiyan, so obviously the main thing that makes him unique, even amongst Saiyans, is just the years of training that he put himself through. Whereas Vegeta was kind of like Frieza, never took anything serious or did much training. But then, after that, he started becoming more like Goku. Heck, even Frieza himself. He had a lot of natural talent, he didn't do any training.
Greetings.
Until after his death and being resurrected later on. And ever since started slowly becoming more like Goku, and now Vegeta and the other Z fighters dedicating time to training to get more powerful, to see what he's truly capable of. Piccolo, Piccolo's been like that since the day he was hatched from King Piccolo, where if he's not doing anything else, if he's not like socializing with others or helping to train someone like Gohan or his daughter Pan, then yeah, Piccolo is usually busy just dedicating so much time to training, being one of the best fighters in the whole series. And even then it was stated by so many others that Piccolo, there was always something very unique about him amongst the Namekians. So I'm like, okay, how about we get someone who is by all means the average Saiyan, not a Saiyan elite, or even a low class who has to work even harder for it. Like, let us see what the average Namekian, the average Saiyan, and the average Ice Gen see what they can accomplish. Like, if they all spend a majority of their youth, or for however long they are alive, let them spend the equivalent amount of time training in order to...
You, Shun, ha!
Oh, I did not know I did not know Grass's voice was that deep. That's awesome. Anyways, so it's like, let the average member for each of those species, let us see what they're capable of accomplishing. Instead of all these other characters who are just mutants amongst their kind. Whether it's mutants, prodigies, or whatever. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to include Broly when talking about Saiyans. So he was born even more unique, just born to be built different, even more so than a Saiyan elite like Vegeta, who he alternates between elite to super elite. Oh well. Like, I just hope in the future they eventually start to explore more what is up with the Frieza race, give them an actual name like Ice or Frost Gen, and give the Namekians more of a chance. Like, I get they're supposed to be very peaceful, but man, if it wasn't for, because unlike, let's see, Namekians are more pacifistic, they don't really like fighting. The Saiyans, they love fighting, that's why they're so much more powerful compared to other species. And the Ice Gens, well, I think it's a matter of they're not pacifists like the Namekians, but they don't exactly love battling. They don't love fighting quite like the Saiyans do. So that's why, but it's just that they're just naturally very, very powerful. So that's why I think, like, in terms of overall species, on average, it goes Namekians, then way ahead of them is the Saiyans, then far ahead of them, the Saiyans, is the Ice Gens. And again, you always have those who are unique amongst their species that tends to shatter that sort of hierarchy with Frieza, Broly, and Piccolo. There's actually so much Dragon Ball's lore that they don't really talk about or don't elevate as much. Not even in side stories that they could just simply make canon. I don't know if they're ever gonna do that. I hope so. But I hope with Piccolo now gaining his orange form and showing what Namekians are quite capable of, if they were to start pushing themselves more often. Just all I know is that like let us see more from the Namekians as well. And please, Dimps and whoever else gets the final say, put Orange Namekian. Just make that a transformation in this game. And Black Frieza or Black Ice Jin. Because it shouldn't just be Saiyans who should have all those unique transformations. Let the Namekians and the Ice Jins have some more transformations too, please. Because it would just be one extra transformation for them. Orange for the Namekians, black for the Ice Jins. There'd be literally no reason not to include them. Like, I would pay for them to put it in this game. I would pay for that DLC. Even though, if I remember, every transformation that's ever been added was added as free DLC. But if they decide, oh, you have to pay for it now, I would gladly do that. As long as they don't screw it up. But that's enough about that. I don't know when the next random Xenoverse 2 video I do, when that's going to be. But it's going to be at some point in the future. And I'll talk to y'all then. Have a good evening.